Ah, yeah. Old Napalm. Well, it's Napalm the fat tub of shit now. The usurper, yeah. The hackaloogie, yeah. The Napalm the whatever. Whatever. Dog cunt whisperer. Anyway, anyway, yeah, it brings me up in here for some dopey reasons. I haven't played this, but he does bring me up, so I just thought I would respond to whatever jackass bullshit he's going to say. So anyway, so this is the guy who can't understand the concept of, the cigarette tax. It's being taxed at 1,000%. The most heavily taxed device in, like, the history of the world. And clearly it's just happens because they're a minority. If it was a majority vice, we know the tax wouldn't be 1,000%. And so it's clearly unconstitutional. It's clearly discrimination. It has nothing to do with protecting children. If we wanted to protect children, we wouldn't let people drink publicly. We wouldn't let them drive to restaurants to go get drunk. That's for sure. If we wanted to protect people, obviously. Yeah, so. And we wouldn't let people be fat asses like this either. Right? Certainly if we were worried about people's health, we wouldn't let them get this outrageously, out of controllably fat. Yeah.
Whole TJ thing and like how free speech and the First Amendment would fucking apply to YouTube. Because he gets it. YouTube has met all of its legal obligations. Oh.
Well, technically, right? That's how. If you say that it's an American corporation, and that I would argue that to be incorporated in America, you ought to have some respect for constitutional principles. And it's quite obvious that the public square has migrated onto the internet, retard. And it's also quite obvious that there is no public square on the internet. It's not formed the same way. And so that there's sort of a responsibility for companies that are providing that infrastructure, that are providing the place where people yell at each other, that they would do it within the confines of this revered Constitution that the country is founded on. Yeah, you could expect that from an American company. I certainly do.
Well, there might be some people like Gary who fucking think that, fucking YouTube should just fucking follow the amendments, blah, 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 blah.
Well, you're missing the blah, 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 blah part, right? The blah, blah, blah part was where I explicitly said they should be regulated as a public utility. That's the blah, 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 blah that you just blah, blah, blah right over. Just like the gas companies are in this state, all right? Insurance companies are regulated in this state. Coal mines are regulated in this state. A ton of stuff is regulated in the public interest in this state. That's the way it works. That's right. That's what government does. It regulates where things get out of control or where rights aren't protected. That's the whole fucking point of government. But obviously you don't want to live in a country with a government that actually does something except invade countries it has no business being in. So what the fuck are you? You are turning into such... God, I really didn't, it wasn't the end of the world that I lost Napalm as what was called a internet friend. But if this is what he is, fuck. I was the most brilliant move I made to offend him. Yeah, to force him to pick his scum buddy.
Oh, I'm fucking sorry, Gary. That's not how fucking free speech works. YouTube is a private fucking website. And just like I could fucking say...
Yeah, well, the TV was what? It was all private companies, wasn't it? So you just aren't going to pay any attention to how the real world has worked in the past and how it really worked well in the past, right? So, they regulated television in the public interest. And guess what? There was a lot of good to that regulation. You want to show me how that regulation was in any way damaging? It basically gave us, news that wasn't for profit. It gave us all kinds of other, little efforts. The crying Indian. Remember the crying Indian commercials? Well, that was all government. You know, so you go ahead and show me what was going on in the 70s that was evil, that was horrid, that was just totally destructive to the health and welfare of the American nation. Yeah, when working people had twice as much income as they have now. Why don't you show me how it was so much worse when the government actually told corporations to behave in a civilized manner? You dumb ass, you fat ass.
Kick you out of my fucking house if you say something I don't like. YouTube can kick you off of their fucking servers for saying something they don't like.
Yeah, well, guess what? They can't do that, and a lot of companies can't do that because they're regulated, okay? They can't kick you out of your insurance, and they can't do this, and they can't do that because we've declared it, we've stated it's not civilized. People have rights. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I wish it didn't fucking work that way, but it
No, it only works that way because of assholes just like you. There's cigarette taxes because assholes like you don't do anything to stop it. There's injustice in the world because fat asses like you say something stupid like, it's the way it is. I didn't make the world. Blah, blah, blah. I'm too fat and lazy to do anything but spit and shit. I'm getting more and more southern every day. Pretty soon I think I'll be fucking, wanking to porno with my sister in it.
It does. I live in the real world.
Oh,
and no, Gary, I'm not a fucking libertarian.
You're worse. Yeah, because some of them have principles, which you don't have. Some of them are at least a little bit consistent. They basically say, I don't give a fuck about anybody else. You've pretended to be somebody else. You've pretended to actually give a fuck. Okay? But you obviously now have learned not to give a fuck.
Just because I actually know how the fucking Constitution applies to fucking things doesn't make me a fucking libertarian.
Well, again, explain to me then, so you're just, go ahead, say it overtly. You say the government was wrong when it intervened in television and required televisions to get their license, required them to operate in the public interest, right? You're telling me they were wrong to do that. And they should never do that on the internet. They shouldn't require internet infrastructure, companies that have monopolies in internet infrastructure, to operate in the public interest. That's asking too fucking much from American corporations making billions of dollars. We can't even ask them to operate in the public interest.
Now, for example, Gary, if you wanted to fucking petition the government to make a fucking web video site, a site that hosts videos, like Federal Tube or fucking something, I'm not going to fucking oppose you. In fact, I would probably sign on to that fucking petition. But as it fucking stands now, even though YouTube has the most fucking eyeballs on it, that means diddly fucking shit. Fucking the First Amendment.
Well, again, so you would have suggested to the government, instead of regulating TV, they should have created the TV like the British Broadcasting Company. So you would have taxed people to create TV for people. You don't think that the American version was much better? Where, yeah, you let private corporations play around, you let them do things differently. Some have more commercials, some have less commercials, but you regulate how many commercials they can have as a maximum number. What the fuck was wrong with that? Oh, that's right, absolutely nothing, because it forced all of them, they all had to compete with the same standards. It wasn't unfair to NBC or CBS or ABC because the rules applied to all of them. So it created a fair battlefield, but it also created a public interest battlefield. The public won, you shithead.
Won't fucking apply to YouTube because the First Amendment applies to the fucking government.
Well, we've already know that the First Amendment applies to all functions regulated by government, okay? That's the Supreme Court's already made these declarations, all right? Why do you think they created public access television, shithead? Again, another example of the government interference. The Supreme Court has endorsed that. It stated it quite clearly that free speech rights have migrated onto these technologies. Now, they haven't had a case on the internet yet, but they certainly had one regarding cable TV, and they obliged the cable companies to create public access channels. You think that was wrong too? I mean, I think the thing that's obscene about it is that I can't enforce my rights to even, for them to be obedient to the Supreme Court written law on the subject, okay? But that's probably okay with you too, because the corporation should decide who the lawyers and the judges are too, because that's where all the fucking money is, right? And that's all that fucking matters, right? That's the civilization you fucking cunts want to live in. You fucking piece of shit.
And what they can do and can't do to its citizenry.
Well, again, that's just not the truth, okay? It's already established. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court interprets the fucking Constitution, douchebag. So the Supreme Court has already established that First Amendment rights migrate to the acts of all people in this country, okay? And so if anybody is abridging your civil rights, all right, they're going to enforce your civil rights. They're going to defend your civil rights.
Anyways, back on to Fred, because Fred, he had a real good point.
Oh yeah, P2P bullshit. Yeah, we should go take our free speech rights to the place where the thieves and the criminals are hanging out. That's where free speech should go migrate, to where crooks, criminals, liars, and frauds hang out. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, enough of the video. I mean, who can tolerate this crap? I mean, Fred made one little comment in his video, and I guess he just loves it because of the one little comment where Fred said, oh, fuck it, we can't, the people will never vote for it. People will never vote to do anything. So that's essentially him saying that Fred thinks people shouldn't do anything. So Edible Napalm's basically interpreted Fred's video to be a statement saying we shouldn't regulate the internet. We shouldn't regulate companies on the internet. They should be left free to thieve and steal and sell our private information, do whatever the fuck they want. They should be above the law, which they have already been demonstrated to be is above the law, right? I mean, the Google lawsuit was just so obvious. The company basically admitted to just stealing a bunch of copyrighted material. The whole point of making the company was to sell it based on views acquired by using copyrighted material, right? Does it make any sense that the VeriSign, whatever it was, lost that case? No, it makes no sense at all. But you're saying that that's what Fred endorses. Fred endorses no action. No action on the internet. The internet should be some place where, yes, it's all about the money. It's not a public space. There shouldn't be any public space. There shouldn't be any commons. No commons on the internet. No parkland, no national parks, no nothing for anybody but the people who have the money to pay the corporations. And we know what advertising drives, right? Well, we know. You're probably one of the intellectually dim people who are persuaded by advertising. That's probably why you play whatever video game you play. It's because you saw a commercial for it. So you love the idea of a bunch of morons who are driven by advertising deciding what you're going to be able to see or do on the internet. They should decide what the internet looks like. They should finance all of the internet. And everybody with a brain should be left out, just like they're left out on cable TV. Right? I haven't had a cable TV show on in this house for 6 years. What have I missed? Shit. That's what I've missed. Nothing. Fuck you. You suck. Yeah, you just suck. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that you sucked, but man, you really do suck. I mean, I thought your friend sucked, and I thought you just like had the smell of like smegma on you from, rubbing his dick on your head. So, yeah, but I didn't realize, no, you got your own smegma. You're a stinky fucker. Yeah, so fuck you. Don't fucking, well, whatever. Get what you deserve, Tubby.